A few days ago, Motorola unveiled its new phone, the Motorola Moto G85, which will be released in the Chinese market as the Motorola S50 Neo. There are some small differences between this global version and the Chinese version. Today in this video, we are going to take a look at the Moto G85 and see what features it offers us. You can use the video timeline to jump to any part of the video you would like to watch. Without wasting time, let's take a look at the design and body of this phone. As you can see, the Moto G85 is a very slim phone with a thickness of about 7.6mm, which is slightly thinner than the Motorola H40 Neo. The minimal bezels and curved display significantly enhance the phone's design and aesthetics. As you know, the Moto G84 didn't have a curved screen and had large bezels, indicating a significant improvement in design. This phone comes in 4 colors: dark gray, blue, olive and red. The dark gray variant weighs about 171 grams, while the blue and olive variants weigh about 173 grams. The back cover and frame of this device are both made of plastic. On the right side of the frame, we have the power and volume buttons. On the bottom frame, we have the Type-C port, SIM card slot, main microphone, and the first speaker output. The second speaker is shared with the call speaker. As you can see, the selfie lens is located in a punch hole at the center top of the screen, adding to the modern look of this device. On the back cover, there are 2 lenses and the flash, arranged in a rectangular module in the corner of the device. Now let's take a look at the attractive display of this phone. The display measures 6.67 inches, which is relatively large, and it's a POLED type that supports a 120Hz refresh rate. The resolution of this device is 1080 by 2400, offering a high-quality display with a pixel density of 395 ppi. As mentioned earlier, the bezels are very slim, with a screen-to-body ratio of about 90.8%. This display can show up to 1 billion colors and supports the DCI-P3 color gamut, making for an excellent display experience. The display brightness is 1600 nits, and the touch sampling rate is 240 Hz, which are both strong points for this phone. Guys, before we move on to the hardware section, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Let's move on to the hardware section of this device. The Moto G85 has a 6nm chipset, the Snapdragon 6S Gen 3. While there are more powerful Snapdragon chipset on the market, I believe the Moto G85 has a decent chipset for a mid-range phone. It has an 8-core processor and an Adreno 619 GPU, which likely means it can handle heavy games, though I'm not sure about its temperature control. After further testing, we will provide more detailed information. From a software perspective, this phone comes with Android 14 and will receive security patch updates for 2 years, with likely updates to its Android version as well. In terms of internal storage and RAM, this phone is available in 2 versions, both with 256GB of internal storage. The difference lies in the RAM. One version has 8GB and other has 12GB. The internal storage uses the UFS 2.2 standard, which offers average speed. The Moto G85 has a memory card slot, supporting up to 1TB of micro SD-XC memory cards, which is a good feature for a mid-range phone. Now let's talk about the camera section. As mentioned earlier, there are 2 lenses on the back cover, a 50MP main lens and an 8MP ultra-wide lens. The main lens has autofocus and OIS, while the ultra-wide lens has autofocus and a 118-degree field of view. However, the main rear camera can only record 1080p videos at 30 and 60 frames per second, and the 32MP selfie lens can record 1080p videos at 30 frames per second. Let's move on to the battery and charging section of this device. The Moto G85 has a 5000 mAh battery with a maximum charging power of 30 watts and supports fast charging. As mentioned earlier, the charging port is USB Type-C 2. It's also worth noting that this device doesn't support wireless charging. Finally, let's take a look at the sensors and connectivity of this phone. The Moto G85 has an optical fingerprint sensor under the display and includes an accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity sensor, and compass. It supports dual-band Wi-Fi with Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 5.1, which is low energy, and 5G connectivity, which are all strong points of this phone. Additionally, it's important to note that this device supports only 1 SIM card. Well guys, that was the introduction of the Motorola Moto G85 and I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to watch the videos that appear on the screen and don't forget to subscribe.